Hello again, I'm Dr. Nev and I'm a licensed psychologist. This is part 1 of my 5-part series on assertiveness strategies that will help you communicate better with others. I frequently utilize these techniques with clients in my private practice, and I hope you will find them to be useful as well. If you are experiencing significant distress, please contact your local psychologist. In today's video, we will discuss 5 irrational beliefs about assertiveness and about saying no to others that might lead you to say yes when you actually want to say no. So let's begin. The first irrational belief about saying no is, if I say no and people get angry, it means I should have said yes. So I'll repeat, if I say no and people get angry, it means I should have said yes. So please remember that just because somebody becomes angry or upset with you does not mean that you actually did anything wrong. People are not entitled to you saying yes to their requests. And if they get angry with you because you said no, that says more about them than it does about you. So instead of feeling guilty or badly that you said no to somebody, please remember that even though you may want to please people that you care about and say yes, you do not always have to please them and you do not always have to say yes. And in fact, it's impossible to say yes to people 100% of the time. So just remember that saying yes when you want to say no is never really in your best interest. The second irrational belief system about assertiveness and about saying no is the following. I will feel terrible about myself if I upset somebody by saying no. I will feel terrible about myself if I upset somebody by saying no. So please remember that you have a right to say no even if it's inconvenient to other people. Saying no to a request is not actually selfish. People do have a right to be upset or disappointed if they do not get their way, but they do not have a right to be rude, they do not have a right to be pushy, demanding, or bullying. So instead, try to remember that you can still feel good about yourself, even though somebody is annoyed or upset with you because you said no to them. And remember most of all that your self-esteem is not contingent on somebody being happy or upset with you. The third irrational belief system about saying no is refusing to say yes or do a favor means that I do not like that person. I'll repeat, refusing to say yes or do a favor means that I do not like that person. So yes, it is true that we tend to do favors and say yes more often to people that we like. However, just because we like somebody does not mean that they deserve a yes 100% of the time. Has anyone always said yes to you, to every single request that you've always made to them? I would imagine no. So instead, remember that refusing to say yes or do a favor does not mean that you do not like the person who asked or the person who requested something. It just means that there might be other factors at play. And most of the time when you say yes or somebody says yes or no to you, it has more to do with the circumstances of the request than it does about the person who's actually making that request. The fourth negative and irrational belief system about assertiveness is the following. The fact that somebody said no to me means I should not have asked. The fact that somebody said no to me means I should not have asked. So please remember that you do have a right to make a request and to ask for what you need. Giving is good, but receiving is also important because it also allows you to achieve your goals and objectives in life. Making requests does not make you pushy, rude, or demanding. So please remember that you do have a right to ask, but they also have a right to say no. The fifth and final irrational belief system that relates to assertiveness is the following. If I ask and they say no, it will upset me so much that I will not be able to stand it. If I ask and they say no, it will upset me and I will not be able to stand it. So yes, if you make a request and somebody denies that request, that doesn't feel good. You might feel hurt, you might feel disappointed, but you will absolutely live. Rejection may suck, but remember that it's not personal most of the time. And the person you're making a request of may simply not have the time to do what you need them to do. Or they might not have the energy or the capacity to comply with your request. So it's important to remember that the no, most of the time, is more about the nature of the request than about the person who is making that request. Also remember that you will be okay even if somebody says no to you. You will be okay even if somebody says no to you. You will live. And over time, hearing no will actually become a lot easier once you yourself have received a little bit more practice saying no to others. Thank you so much for watching part 1 of my 5-part series on assertiveness skills. If you found this video to be useful, I hope you will also check out part 2, where I will discuss how to effectively say no to others. Please subscribe if you would like YouTube to inform you anytime I post a new video. Thank you so much for your time and take care.